What if the ghosts we bury aren't slain by time, but exhumed by a single searing glance, echoing the spectral reckonings of Hamlet's poisoned chalice or the silent screams of Stalin's purges, where the mind's fragile vault cracks under the weight of truths too heavy for one soul to shoulder alone? Inhale the cloying incense of elven enclaves, where floral veils mask the rot of resentment. Taste the ashen regret on lips pressed in futile fury. Feel the invisible barbs of manipulated minds snagging your thoughts like thorns in a crown of forgotten crowns, as identities splinter not in cataclysm, but the insidious unraveling of what was willed away. This is the haunting crux of my status as an assassin obviously exceeds the hero's. Episode 4, Shadows of the Silenced, aired on October 27, 2025, delving perilously into the elven exile arc's shadowed heart, where Akira's blade-sharp instincts navigate not just forests, but the labyrinthine lies of lineage, building on the summoning's deceitful dawn toward a conspiracy that devours dynasties from within. It captivates from the outset with a deceptive hush, a prelude to pandemonium that unveils layers without laying them bare, teasing the precipice of perdition. Have you ever sifted through the rubble of a relationship's ruin, unearthing artifacts of affection twisted into accusation, questioning if oblivion is mercy or the cruelest captivity? The episode embodies that excavation, its silences swelling with spectral summons, curiosity a specter at your shoulder, suspense the slow seep of secrets, drawing you inexorably into the gloom where one erased echo might echo eternally, demanding you descend to decipher the dirged and the afterglow of Episode 3's pact-bound plunge, where Akira's mercy tamed Yoru's feral form amid Amelia's ancestral aches, teleporting them into elven thickets teeming with tribal tensions. This chapter coils tighter, unspooling Amelia's shadowed sibling in a duel that dances like forbidden duets from Renaissance vendettas. Revelations rend the royal veneer, manipulations unearthed like buried blades from a Borgia banquet, while a father's forbidden fiat fractures further, birthing alliances as brittle as autumn leaves. The hero's distant cadre carves its own crooked path, their plotting progress a counterpoint to the elves' explosive enigmas, each step sinking with the summon's sinister undercurrent. It vaults forward, not in vaulted vaults alone, but toward infernal intersections. Cliffhangers chill a cadre of cloaked assailants materializing from mist. Can you not sense the sap-sticky air thickening on your skin, the muffled mew of a watchful whisker in the underbrush, stoking the savage urge to pursue before the shadows swallow the siblings whole? Episode 4 propels the saga with the inexorable creep of a curse incantation, advancing Akira's anti-hero ascent from pact-forged fugitive to familial faultline navigator, where the sibling showdown unveils Kalika's coerced carnage as a linchpin twist, her mind's marionette strings pulled by paternal prohibition, echoing light novel Volume 1, Chapter 4, The Elf's Hidden Thorn, wherein the duel dissects not just flesh, but the fabricated facade of fraternal favor. Revelations cascade, the third-party puppeteer's phantom hand in Liam's lamentable loss, a bombshell that doubles down on dynastic deceit, culminating in a cliffhanger of nightly incursion that hums with Horde's approach. Pacing attains alchemical art, contemplative confessions cresting to combative crescendos, dramatic equipoise mirroring the measured menace before Waterloo's whirlwind, intersplicing introspection with inferno without indigestion. Fans fret over cloudy aspects, the mind controls murky mechanics, or Kalika's scapegoat saga seeming sudden, but Volume 1, Chapters 4 to 5, demystifies the enchantment, rooted in elven etheric edicts, a lore load of spirit-binding prohibitions per the novel's appendices, activates via inferiority's ignition, not arbitrary affliction, clarifying her blight child burden as a deliberate deflection of Amelia's ascendance. Ambiguities like the eraser's ethical echo aren't enigmas, but escalatory echoes of the source's scrutiny on memory's malleability, augmenting the anime with prognostic profundity that invites immersion in the light novel's unyielding unraveling of royal rot. Kalika doesn't merely emerge, she erupts, her psyche a palimpsest of paternal prejudice, wounds from scapegoat sting fueling a fury that's transformative in its ferocity, choices to lash out consistent with her caged canary complex yet surprising in their synaptic snap, motivations a maelstrom of mirrored malice. Toward Amelia's unearned aura, Amelia, the favored phantom, deepens through defensive duress, her growth from guarded girl to guardian a psychological pivot, dialogues dripping with dawning dismay that reveal hidden harmonies with Akira, her affections a surprising salve. Akira himself accretes acuity, his assassin's aloofness yielding to empathetic incisions that probe Kalika's plight, choices like halting the havoc a consistent creed of calculated compassion, transformative in tethering his terrestrial tenets to this world's whimsical woes. Morality here is memory's merciless mirror. Kalika's coerced commands a seminar in sacrifice's shadow, where power's perversion probes. Does erasing another's anguish absolve the architect, or architect anew a abyss of autonomy's theft, manifesting in the father's Mahler's fiat as Frankenstein's folly writ regal? Hope flickers frail against despair's dominion in sibling schisms, survival's calculus clashing with forgiveness's fragile forge. Evident in Akira's intervention, a Camus-esque confrontation with the absurd, where choices to cleave chains evoke the Underground Railroad's whispered wagers on soul's sovereignty, much like dissidents' diaries from Gulag's grip, interrogating. In a realm of rewritten recollections, can one reclaim the self, or merely mourn its mausoleum? Elven etherics expand the ice-sky interstice, layering lore of blight bindings, cultural curses that complicate kinship's calculus with historical hexes, per Volume 1's interludes on spirit-sibling schisms, enriching the ether with ethical entanglements while the hero party's hinterlands hint at hybrid havens, transmuting the tapestry from trope-trod terrain to textured tableau where otherworldly oaths oppress as oppressively as earthly empires. The script stabs with stiletto subtlety, keen, kaleidoscopic, its poetry, pulsing in the fissures where fury falters unspoken, lines like Kalika's keening query to her kin carrying the lacerating lament of Lear's storm-swept soliloquies, foreshadowing fractures foreordained while reverberating in the roll credits reverie like a requiem's residue. Impactful, ironclad against Ice-Sky's inanities, even Akira's asides arrive with assassin's aplomb, evoking the elliptical enigmas of the usual suspect's slights, each locution a lure into the labyrinth. I harbored those hushed heart-to-hearts, their heft a hollow in my chest. When did a sister's silence scream last sync with the suppressed symphonies in your own silences, ensnaring you to revisit, to wrest the wisdom before it wanes to whisper? Art direction drapes the domain in dusk's dubious dyes, viridian valas veined with violet venom, lighting lacerating Kalika's lithe silhouette in liminal luminescence that opposes the duel's drenching dusk, shadows slithering like suppressed sins in stasis that surges to skirmish's spasm, fluidity in form-fraught phrase a fantasia of ferocity tempered by tenderness. Beauty binds as bittersweet, symbolism sculpting sorrow's sacrament where palettes play parses the poignant, cinematography communes with the concealed. Gliding glissandos through groves gloom heighten isolation's insidious itch, compositions confining confessions in chiaroscuro clutches akin to Rembrandt's remorseful remembrances. Editing's ebb a elegiac escalation, lingering, dissolves delving into delusions that doppelganger despairs drag. Tension threaded taut as telepathic tendrils, your vigilance vexed by the veiled. The OST stalks as silence spectre, somber sarabins shadowing sibling standoffs, ballooning to barbaric brass in the brawl's blaze that brands like banished brands. Silence in the erasure's aftermath and enunciation orally acute, motifs of mournful mandolins metastasizing into memory, hoisting the hush to haunting him. See you evoke essences from ether's edge. Kalika's voice, a vitreous vibrato veined with vitriol, quavers into quietude that incarnadines the ice-sky isolates ire. Amelia's aria, ardent yet adrift, infuses intensity with innate innocence. Enunciations not enacted, but ensouled, prompting pause. Perchance your phrasing could pierce such profundity, unveiling the veiled without vanquishing the vulnerability. It seared me, this segment, a spectral seepage of sorrow and solidarity, trauma's tendrils twining with the tenacious ties I've tested in my own tangled tribes, astonishment alight in the ameliorative armistice like aurora after apocalypse's ash. Moments maim indelibly, that confluence of consanguinity and contrition, a rupture where recollections rend the realm asunder, realigning rivalries into something redemptive, raw as the revelation in a family vault when vaults yield not valuables, but voids voiced at last. It invokes immutable inquiries, identity's imprisonment by inheritance, as in Kafka's Trial of the Tribe, lingering like litanies. In absolving the architect of amnesia, do we absolve ourselves, or accrue the arrears of altered annals? You palpate it, do you not, the phantom pressure of a palm print? It's no nominal narrative, it's necromancy, notching with notions that nestle in your nocturnes, necessitating reprise until the resonance reclaims you utterly. By reverse reading, the episode's enigmas, mind mechanics mired in mysticism, the third party's tenebrous tease, might manifest as muddled missives, pacing's pensive preludes perilously poised on prolixity's precipice. Yet reconceive, these are no narrative nubs, but deliberate dusk, obscurity out of the light novel's layered ledger domain. Volume 1, Chapter 4's etheric evasions, thematic totems twining ice-sky intrigue with introspective inquiry, convolution a crucible complicating catharsis. Kalika's kineticism occasionally outpaces kinship's knit, a judicious jab, it accelerates the arc's allure, eluding ennui, albeit Amelia's arc averts a tad toward archetype. Acclaim predominates. Amid anime isles awash in artifice, this subtlety sublimates, transfiguring trifles into transcendental talismans. Shadows of the silenced shines in symbiotic splendor, narrative nuance navigating the nebulous, aesthetics animating the arcane, ephemeral eclipses effaced by a script that summons spirits, infirmity's faint flickers in the phantasm. It incarnates the chronicle's creed, not perfunctory portals, but the pilgrimage carnage through the penumbras we populate, where assassins eclipse heroes not in havoc, but in the humane heresy of healing haunts. I intuit incursions intensifying in elven eves ere long, yet evoke this evocateur, as the veil vaults and that ultimate umbra undulates unyielding. Will you evade the erasure's entreaty, or embrace the echo that's been etching your essence since the ether first ensnared? The silhouette stirs, your summoning starts with the surrender.